Thursday, May the 19th, 2022, and I'm down in Southbourne, West Sussex, about to undertake Book 1, Walk 37, which was one of the first walks I did. I think it was the second actually, 13 years ago. So I'm walking from here around Chichester Harbour to Chichester, making full use of my new senior rail card. I was able to leave Hitchin 2.5 hours ago, a tad before 10 o'clock, which enables me to get back to these further places at a reasonable time, it now being about 12:25. Train is 5 minutes late, or was 5 minutes late today. Got a decent day, mixed cloud and sunny intervals, bit of a breeze, so there may be a bit of wind interference on commentary when we get shoreside. Tide is going to be a mix of high and low, initially low and then up to high, which should give us a variety of scenes. So 13 years on, can't still believe I'm here doing this, but there you go. Let's crack on and see what awaits us. As I say, about 12:25 now, so hoping to be done by about 6. Passing the church of St John the Evangelist, and shortly after that, 50 metres or yards in my case, turn off right and we're now into a well overgrown footpath for around 225 yards. So here's the second of a couple of 3-armed finger posts, and we're now out into open country, so we'll be following the GPX track henceforth. It's very simple to get from the station anyway, but the main reason for doing this walk today, apart from getting the max out of my rail card, is to update an old mobile phone quality video. As I say, back in the day, that's all I had. So here we are, 13 years on, finally getting round to updating it, and on a decent afternoon by the looks of it, fingers crossed. So 10 minutes in, we hit the harbour, and tide looks like it's pretty much up already, and there is a bit of a breeze, as you may be able to hear. Below me there's a cuckoo, somewhere over there on my right, so that's the 4th one of the season, doing very well this year. So with the harbour on my right, you've got meadows on my left, and a kind of overflow channel there. We're now headed towards Marsh Farm on the map. There's the raspy songster. Do believe that's a whitethroat as opposed to a lesser. Wonderful. Looking back towards John the Evangelist, Southbourne. Good advice here. It is their home as well. God, and the wind is certainly a bit blowier than I was expecting. I read 20 kph max speed, or was it 20 miles per hour gusts, but nonetheless it's a bit blowier than I was expecting. South Downs backdrop there. Pretty easy walking thus far on the seawall. Can't remember too much of this walk, to be honest, like many that I'm redoing. Passing Hambrook Stream Outfall. This is all on my left as I walk at the moment. There's a bird I don't recognise. You're going to get all sorts in here, reed warblers, sedge warblers, maybe even some of the rare ones, setties. And as you can see, it isn't quite high tide yet, but I'm expecting that around 2:30, I think it is, per the tide tables. So there's a lovely aroma here of drying seaweed. Interesting white flower out in bloom here, which is giving off a decent aroma at the moment. Don't know what it is, but it's associated with the coastline, I remember that. And it was around this time that I did this walk 13 years back, funnily enough. I think it was May the 24th. So, albeit it was on a mobile phone, should be interesting comparison. Skylarks to the left me, above this wheat field. Looks like wheat. Slight deviation here due to the storms, as you can see. Not sure which storms they're referring to, but doesn't look too bad. You could easily walk along there. And I am sticking with the original route. No health and safety nonsense for me. Not unless it involves cattle. And there may well be some on this walk today, seeing as we're in meadow country. Can't recall. So as the tide is moving in at a rate of knots now, I've just found a get out route from the original path, which joins up with the alternative over there. So I shall jump on it. Wonderful South Downs backdrop over there, surrounded by skylarks. Lovely. Looking back whence I've come, harbourside. Walking's a bit easier on this secondary seawall. Got yellowhammers over there somewhere in the hawthorn. There you go. Wonderful. Plenty of gorse around again. Haven't noticed any Dartford warblers, but I wonder if they do frequent this area. Certainly seen quite a few little egrets. Haven't been able to capture one yet. Here we go, information panel about Cobnor foreshore and the need to check tide times. So in fact I shouldn't be down here. I've come up half a mile too far. I need to go back and get myself back on track. Otherwise I might get cut off. Can't get that bird into focus. that it's a siskin or redpole. I have to check that when I get home, but unfortunately can't get clarity on it. I think it's a siskin. It's got a reddish chest. So as it transpires, I shouldn't even have been at this point anyway. So I've lost a good half hour here, about a mile, because there's a turning on my left up here, now on my right, that I should have taken. That'll teach me not to keep my eye on the GPX track. Still, I think the worst place is to get diverted. So here's the turn off, and there is a footpath marker over there. So how I missed that, I do not know. I was coming from that direction, completely missed it. Anyway, not to worry, back on track. About 50 yards of road walking here in Chidham. No sign on the finger post here, but this is our onward journey through this rape field. And I'm going to have my lunch here because I'm running in arrears. There is a little church or chapel somewhere in this place. So here we are, St Mary's, Chidham, around about 2 o'clock. So good timing for lunch, seeing as I'm in arrears today. This is about 4 mile in. I've recorded 5, but that's erroneous really. So there you go. Quite a plain looking place. And the door is open. Nice and cool in here. Very interesting map there. Wonderful. Just the one chair in this churchyard. That's all I need. There are a couple of others in the adjoining churchyard, the extension area. So as I say, early lunch for me, because I had an early breakfast as well to get here. So let's tuck in. Okay, 3 o'clock, lunch has been had, and whilst having it I was accompanied by a goldfinch. They are luckily now very abundant, no trouble with their numbers. Also saw another house martin, plenty of them around it seems now, and noticed that that weather vane is indeed pointing in the right direction. We have a westerly southwesterly breeze today and around 19 degrees. So let's leave this lovely place, move on. There's no finger post here, but there is a broad grassy track immediately opposite the church, and I do believe this is our onward journey. So the broad grassy track is the right direction. Somewhere over there on my left is Chidmore Pond on the map, So there's a small car park there on my left. Onward journeys ahead of us, with Bosham Church, I do believe, in the distance. More downland views on my left. Views across the harbour at Bosham. And as you can see, tide is now pretty much full in. And I remember filming from this point 13 years back, because it forms the main photo for the last video. Tide was high then. And that finger post is still there as well. Passing a wonderful thatched property there, Rythe House. Come out onto a lane which is quite busy at the moment, so swans and ducks in the road as well, no surprise. And there's the reason why. On my left, family of swans there. Passing shot of Bosham, from this angle at least. Interesting the way this soil's been compacted. Interesting colour as well. It'll be good quality being so close to the harbour, just behind me, just behind this seawall. And incidentally, we have to continue straight ahead shortly. Can't do a right, which would be the obvious route to get round the back of the harbour, because there's no footpath. So we have to go ahead, across a main road, through a little hamlet, and then do a right. Even after 13 years, they still haven't managed to get a permissive path across the obvious way. Looking back whence I've come, lovely afternoon. Yeah, it's a shame there isn't a path just in front of these two houses here, across the top of or the back of the harbour that way. So nothing's changed there. So yeah, you have to cross the busy A269 here, annoyingly, and continue up this lane. So we're now walking down an old lane here, and as you can see, the harbour just over on my right, tantalisingly close, but we're not allowed to walk along the top of it there. It's about 500 yards away, I guess. Right, so we now take this footpath, but I notice there's a cycleway next to the busy A259, not 269 as I said earlier, and you could as well take that from the point I left earlier, walking round the back there. Could have just walked this, follow this, far better. It's about 500 yards of busy road walking next to Not sure where that path comes from on my right. Maybe someone's created a path round the field edge illegitimately anyway. But we're back in the harbour again. Two options at this juncture. Veer left, that's the one you don't want, or continue harbourside, which is the one you do. Some interesting birds here. Widgeon, shelduck, curlew, which I've heard, not seen, Brent goose and ringed plover. Not very welcoming. There's a short stretch here at high tide, as you can see, that gets a bit damp, but you can get through that with a pair of walking boots. Wonderful. Can't remember if this was here last time, but no doubt it will become residential in the not too distant. As we come away from the harbour slightly now. Nice little backwater here to the rear of this thatch. Just by the Millstream Hotel and Restaurant. Passing the 1837 Chapel House.
Area.
It is cracking. You're obviously not local.
No.
Go on.
And I'm having a hard time tearing.
Excuse that interruption, having a chat with an American tourist there. But that's the Millstream cottage I was filming the rear of a moment ago. So at the end of this interesting avenue, you have Holy Trinity Church, Bosham. Amazing church as well. Can't get the spire in, sun's in the way. Let's see if I can get it from another angle. There she blows. Well, this would have made a great lunchtime stop had I not lost time earlier. Beautiful. Look at the detail in the windows and everything else. Google that one if you're interested. Holy Trinity Bosham, spelt B-O-S-H-A-M. And that would have made my lovely picnic stop there. Wonderful. Just by the spire. And of course it backs onto the stream. Fantastic, eh? And then at the front of the church, you're onto the harbour again. Wonderful. And over there is the lunchtime stop, I do believe, pub. Don't recall getting up here last time I filmed this walk, probably because I didn't. Well, this is some church. Lots of things going on inside here. Beautiful brickwork. Lovely windows. Fantastic ceiling. And look at that for modernity, eh? Euros as well. One-way system in operation. And there's even a little vault down there as well. No stained glass though, notice. Must have been removed. Maritime theme throughout. Down in that little fort. Amazing. Not sure what it's for.
Receiving no GPS positions.
Yeah.
Missing internet connection.
Sorry about that interruption. My GPX. Better get out of here. Okay, so we leave Holy Trinity. What a lovely church that is. 4:30 on the button. Chimes have just struck. So you've been warned. And this bit, funnily enough, I do remember. Ice cream van still doing business. So at the moment, unfortunately, it doesn't look like I can go round this way. Let's have a little look. No, I couldn't pass through, it's too deep. Information panel here about Bosham. There is the lunchtime stop.
Oh, sorry.
You will be.
I thought you'd finished.
Does it look like it? There's a little job going here. Lovely. Nice little part-time number. Brilliant. So I'm taking an alternative route via the car park and chandlery here, hoping to get back on track because of the flooding down below. In those 15-20 minutes, the tide has dropped back sufficiently to allow me to pass, thankfully, because I couldn't find any alternative way around it. There is a path up on the left here, but I couldn't find out how you got on it. Not to worry, all's well ends well. Okay, just stood in front of the National School, 1834 there. And we branch off away from the harbour again here, which is a shame. Lovely little place this is, Bosham. So interestingly, straight out of Bosham into broad beans by the looks of it. Agricultural crops. Farming at its most technical. Not sure what they're doing over there, but I noticed they're laying some kind of water pipe down the side of the field here, and it's all been seeded. Young seeds out there, all labelled up as well. Interestingly, the crew working that tractor were Eastern European, so the fear that they would all disappear doesn't seem to have materialised. Many have, but there are still some here working our crops, thankfully. Okay, there in the distance is my destination, Chichester Cathedral. Not sure exactly how far that is, because obviously I've mucked up all the tracking information. Getting a bit closer now. Lots of little lagoons here at the back of Fishbourne Harbour. Wonderful. Looking north towards the Downs, Wonderful. And there is a kind of oak here growing alongside the harbour of the type that I noticed on one of the Essex walks. First egret I've been able to film today. I think that's a little one, as opposed to its bigger cousin. Wonderful. Swans everywhere over there. And as you can hear in the background, reed warblers in them. I think they're sedge or reed warblers. Not sure which, in amongst these reeds. Loads of swallows buzzing over above as well. And there's a harrier of some sort, whether it's marsh or hen. Probably marsh. Wonderful. It's the right terrain for a marsh harrier. Wonderful rivulets amongst the reeds. Fantastic nature, isn't it? When left to its own devices. This is the best flood defence system. Passing another kind of mill pond by the looks of it. Wonderful. Contrasting smell of fresh water. It's lovely. An old thatch over there, just about to be renovated. Nice little memento there to Tom Bowman, 1990. Well, I don't know if you've heard that, but that's my 5th cuckoo of the season. Just heard another one. Absolutely the right terrain for it as well. Wonderful, I'm doing well this year. It's good to hear, actually. As you can see, I'm on Fishbourne Meadows, where that cuckoo was heard. On the boardwalk. Now passing through woodland to pass under the busy A259. Right, well this is where the GPX track ends, funnily enough. Yeah, it doesn't take you into Chichester, so I'll get to Chichester, film the cathedral, and then that'll be it. Now walking through residential Chichester, back to the station. Right, I've managed to turn 11.5 miles into 15.6 because of that error that I made earlier, and that is some massive error. So 5.5 hours later I'm back at Chichester, and I didn't manage to even capture the cathedral. I haven't had time really, and the old legs are done. Didn't mean to be walking that sort of distance, but there you go. It's what you get for not obeying signs, eh? But in any case, I shouldn't have even been at that sign. So my fault entirely for not keeping my eye on the GPS track. So, decent walk that, very good. Didn't remember much of it. And cracking days we've had as well weather-wise. So can't complain at all. So that's free walk 537 I believe. Completed, no it's not, it's book 2 walk 37, what am I on about? Should know that now. Book 1 even, book 1 walk 37. Completed once again, and it doesn't seem to have changed much at all in terms of housing development, etc, etc. So highly recommended that walk, lots of variety in it, urban and coastal and agricultural. So it's going to be a late one tonight, but there you go. Have a good evening, and until the next time.